gonna go live soon.
Hello there. My name is Victor Bokos and I'm a MARA registered migration agent here in Australia. I lead a company called Mr. Visa Pty Ltd, which specializes in migration to Australia. We partnered with a company in Romania, which specializes in education and migration to Australia in Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Central Asia. We partnered because we want to provide the best opportunity, the best pathway for you in terms of your education and skill migration to Australia. Perhaps you don't know where you're at in your pathway, in your life journey. Maybe you are at a crossroads like the roundabout behind me. But with Multipath Expert and Mr. Visa Pty Ltd, we can actually provide a pathway which is the best way for you to move forward with your migration inquiry. Please contact our representatives in Central Europe, in Eastern Europe and Central Asia, Mr. Gabriel Radu in particular from Multipath Expert, and will offer a tailored solution for your education or skill migration to Australia. Western Australia is a very good destination because if you study in regional Australia, you get extra points and Australian study requirement is met. And so we recommend you to get in touch with our representatives in Europe and Central Asia to explore these possibilities for you because there were two major announcements. One is more recent when the skilled occupation list for Western Australia has been expanded, and the other benefit for you is that if you come for a postgraduate degree and you have children, your children will have education free of charge. Thank you.
where I'm located, but we'll also be talking about Australia in general. So my main point at the moment is there's a lot of disruption going on in the world. We've just been through a major pandemic. Inflation is now a big problem in many countries. There's a war going on not far from you guys. So there is a lot of issues, but here in Australia, we're very fortunate. We say that we have the lucky country, and I can say that the life is good. I mean, sure, things are getting a little bit expensive. We do have COVID circulating around, but on the whole, our life is good at the moment. And it seems like going forward, all these troubles that are going, they'll touch us, but just a little bit. So I just want to make that point that we are a really good place to be at the moment. Apologies, I'm having...
That's all right. Are you planning to share your screen?
Yeah, I am planning to do that. So, Gabriel, do you want to cut in for a bit?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I can switch to Sanjar. Tell us how is Melbourne? You've been quiet for this time.
Yeah. So first of all, this is Sanjar here from Uzbekistan as well. It will be just a small introduction in English for the people who are, let's say, involved in the English community and all this stuff. I'm 25. I came in Melbourne like about 6 months ago, in the beginning of January 2022. And it was a big adventure for me as well. So basically, as all our representatives will be providing the information in English, I decided to speak in Russian a bit, because still the Uzbekistan and OCS countries, they do know Russian, so I will try to do my best in that part. Ну что ж, добро пожаловать всем, опять же, на наш вебинар. Очень приятно вас всех здесь сегодня видеть. Как вот и сказал и Адам, представитель Edith Cowan University с Western Australia. Мы сегодня хотим вам немножко рассказать вообще о Австралии, о этой стране, потому что для всех обычно Австралия — это другой конец мира, и никогда даже никто не думает об Австралии как об опции. Не буду скрывать, для меня это было то же самое, скорее всего, даже когда я задумался об этом варианте, как рассмотреть свою магистратуру в данной стране, я задался вопросом, а как это далеко находится? Это такой конец мира, это так далеко, это нужно пересечь столько океанов и морей и так далее. Да, эта информация всегда шокирует и, может быть, пугает. Но для тех, кто стремится добиться своих каких-то целей и хочет достичь чего-то большего, нежели чем просто образование, experience, получить много эмоций, почувствовать себя в другой культуре, то эти люди, конечно же, это сделают. Австралия — это не маленькая страна, с не такой огромной, конечно, популяцией, но все же. Здесь вы можете найти абсолютно разных людей, всех национальностей, видов и так далее. Это очень-очень богатая страна своей культурой, историей. Это английская колония, да. Раньше по истории Австралия это была та страна, куда ссылали людей, но сегодня это страна из топ-10 стран по уровню жизни. И всем, кто здесь проживает, кто здесь когда-то был, все остаются довольны. И просто даже после путешествия. Почему? Потому что здесь очень-очень много интересных достопримечательностей, очень много знаковых моментов, истории также. Поэтому для всех, кто действительно заинтересован в обучении Австралии, просто посетить Австралию как турист, либо развить свой языковой какой-то барьер и так далее, то все вам будем рады. Пишите нам в Инстаграм, мы будем отвечать на ваши вопросы и помогать как сможем. Спасибо. So guys, I'm pretty much done. You can...
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjar.
All right, so my screen is shared. Gabriel?
Not yet, no. It's not shared.
Oh.
Yeah. You just press the present now button and then you should take it from there.
Okay. All right, we'll just try one more time, hey?
Yep.
We have it?
Yes, we do. We do have.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So sorry about that. It's a bit of a technical problem. But so my university in Perth is called Edith Cowan University. And unfortunately, was there a slide change there, Gabriel?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay. So that's me. Me with my more formal appearance. So I'm called International Account Manager. So at universities in Australia, we all have what's called an international office. And in the international office, there's a team of people that do like student recruitment is what we call it. So I'm International Account Manager, and I, among other things, I look after Central Asia for ECU. So we've done a lot of work to try and promote ourselves, and you know we're still working. So we do believe that we're a good destination for people from Central Asia, and we hope that eventually that idea will get out there, and hopefully more people will come. So this is what I'm going to cover today, and if you don't know, that is a native Australian animal, and it's called a koala, although I'm sure some of you know about a koala bear. So that is one of our native Australian animals. And you can see there, it says ready mate. So mate is what we call each other. That's our sort of word for friend. I know there's different words in the world. I spent a lot of time in the Middle East, and I know they use the word habibi for friend. So in Australia, we use mate. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a Russian equivalent for it as well. So today I'm just going to talk a bit about Western Australia and about ECU. I'm going to talk a bit about some study areas. I'm going to talk about jobs and areas of sort of job growth, which I think that will be of interest, scholarships, and then about how to, like, what you need to get into study, and also costs as well. And then just round up about a few little things that we do for students. So we're in Perth. So Perth's in the west of Australia. Sanjar's in Melbourne. Melbourne, probably when you think of Australia and what you've heard of are the cities Melbourne and Sydney, which are the well-known parts of Australia. But Perth is also a big city in Australia that's on the western side. It's actually closest to you than any other city. It's about 4 hours closer than Melbourne and Sydney. So, for example, if you're coming via Dubai to Perth, direct flight, daily flight, 10 hours from Dubai to Perth. Dubai to Melbourne and Sydney, you're looking more like 14 hours. So we actually share the same time zone as 60% of the world population, because we are sort of in the same time zone as places like China and parts of India. We're in the top 10 of livable cities in the world, and we're actually doing a little bit better than other cities in Australia. Why? Because we actually got through the pandemic with very little COVID. So for the whole time that COVID was raging in the world, for perhaps the first 2 years, Perth had no COVID at all, and it was only when the borders opened up, international and domestic, did the virus come in. So it is now here, but thankfully it's not the original, the first variant. So it's not causing so much problems now. We get the most sunshine of any city in Australia, and we're also known for our international student diversity. Some parts of Australia are very dominated by certain cultures, certain maybe 1, 2 or 3 certain cultures, but in Perth, it's very diverse in terms of the countries that students come from. We have Australia in general has very low unemployment at the moment, okay, which you can look in the news. We have one of the lowest unemployment rates of all the states in Australia. We have a very strong economy, okay, and our economy is based on mining and oil and gas. 80% of oil and gas production in Australia is done in Western Australia. And in mining, things like iron ore, gold, nickel, lithium, a new one coming up, and other precious metals are very rich in Western Australia. So it means that our economy is strong, and it was strong all during the pandemic. And the government, the West Australian government is actually quite wealthy at the moment as a government compared to other governments in Australia. So as I mentioned before, like we're going to, any sort of economic difficulties that might be coming up, I can imagine that we'll ride them out quite well in Western Australia. Okay, some things about Perth too. So as a student, you can work part-time. 20 hours per week is what is the general number of hours per week that you can work while you're studying. But during break times, you can work unlimited. Because we've had so limited migration over the last couple of years, the Australian government has actually been looking to international students to try and fill up the workforce. So they have actually they've been more flexible in certain areas. For example, hospitality, students have actually been allowed to work for a full 40 hours a week while they've been studying. So they are good times at the moment. So you can work while you study. Mostly the money that you make, or generally the money that you can make from part-time work, will cover your living costs. There are students that do use it to pay for their fees as well. This does become difficult, okay, if you're trying to cover your cost of living and your cost of study as well. It's best if you can draw on some support from other sources for your fees, okay, or make your life much easier. That means that you will do well in your study, which is really important, because if you do well in your study, it gives you the best chance of getting into employment when you're finished. So in Perth, in Australia in general, if you do 2 or more years of study, you can do 2 or more years of study. At the end of the time, you can get what's called a post-study work visa. Melbourne and Sydney, the minimum is 2 years of post-study work. Okay, although I believe the government, if you do postgraduate, you can get 3 years, so it's 2 or 3 years. However, because in Perth, we're classified as regional, it doesn't mean that we are regional. We are a big city. We know we've got 2 million plus people, but because we're classified as regional for the migration, for the government point of view, and therefore we get an extra year of post-study work visa. So if you were to get, say, 2 years of work post-graduation in Melbourne or Sydney, in Perth it's 3 years. You get 3 years post-study work of graduation in Melbourne, Sydney. In Perth, that'll be 4 years. So you actually get an additional year of post-study work if you're in Perth, because it's classified as regional. Why is this? It's because the Australian government is trying to encourage people to choose places away from the big cities. The big cities are getting quite crowded. There's still a lot of opportunities in different parts of Australia. So the government is trying to encourage people to go to different parts of Australia, for example, Perth. And they do that through giving incentive of extra years of post-study work. On average, our wages are higher compared to other parts of Australia too. I don't know why this is. I'm sure there's some economic base for it. I do know though, because I was living in Melbourne for a little bit in the last couple of years, and I do know that I was earning at least $10,000 more than people that did the same work than me in Melbourne. So on average, our salaries are higher in Perth compared to other parts of Australia. So, but the main thing there is the post-study work, the additional year that we give for post-study work. Gabrielle did mention, I haven't got a point there, but if you are doing postgraduate study, masters by coursework, masters by research, PhD, you have children of school age, okay, so primary school or high school, then the West Australian government lets those children go to school for free. Okay, you don't need to pay any additional fees. If you've got school age children, primary school, secondary school, and you're doing post-grad study, then your kids can go to school for free. Gabriel has done this for a number of his clients that he works with, so he knows how it works, and he can say that it does work. So it's another selling point for us as well in WA. Okay, so that's ECU. Just point out the blue sky, the blue sky, the green grass. So Perth is a very natural city. We have a very good environment. I told you we have the most hours of sunshine of any parts of Australia. It's a very outdoor city. It's very safe. We're into our sports. We're into our beach. We have some of the most amazing beaches in Australia. At ECU, we've got 3 campuses. Our main campus is in Joondalup, which is in the north of Perth. And then we've got another one central, and then we've got another one south as well. So there's 3 campuses, and we've got a total of more than 31,000 students. And of the 31,000 students, we've got almost, it did drop during the pandemic time because we didn't have students coming in, but we're working back quickly up to 6,000 international students. So we do have a very strong international student population. Those are some of the reasons to study with us, okay? I would say to pick those out, okay, we're international, a lot of our courses are internationally recognised. We have a very big focus on applied learning. So our philosophy is very much about getting students into jobs. So we do teach the theory that you're used to with universities, but a lot of our courses have some sort of practical component or placement to help students get into jobs. And I do know that they're doing well. You do well your study, then there's all possibility that you can get yourself into a good job at the end of your study and take advantage of that post-study work. Another really important thing about ECU, and I do feel like it separates us from other universities in Australia, is that we've got a very supportive environment, both learning and also if students have issues, there's always someone to help. It's a philosophy across the university that we need to give our students a good experience. I won't go too much into rankings, but we are a young university. We're only 30 years old compared to maybe some other universities in Central Asia and also in Australia. However, we are doing very well. We're now in the top 500 according to Times rankings for young universities under 50 years old. We're in the top 100. Okay, there's a guide called the Good University Guide where we have been given 5 stars for our teaching quality now for 15 years in a row. Okay, it's a Good Universities Guide, so that's a really important ranking that we've got. There's other rankings as well. If you look up, I mean, you can do your own searching, but there's a ranking called QUILT, which is domestic ranking in Australia, where for the last 5 years, we've topped for our student experience, for our teaching quality of all the public universities in Australia. There's 40 of them, almost 40 of them. So we're a young university. I always say, like, I am a bit of an investor. I've made some good investments, some bad investments in my life. But I feel like ECU, it's an investment in the sense that you buy it now and the quality is only going to go up over time as the rankings improve at the university, and they will improve. So the value of your certificate is only going to go up. It's not going to go down, all right? So the way I look at it is that you're making an investment into your future. Okay, so I won't go too deeply into the courses because we have many of them and you can do your own search. But you can see those are some of our popular areas. Cybersecurity, I talk about, is huge. Engineering is big at ECU. We have nursing, biomedical science. We've got business courses, commerce, hospitality, undergraduate, postgraduate, and so forth, accounting. And then we do sciences like environmental management. We do teaching as well. Before we came to university, we were colleges of teaching, colleges of education for 100 years, and then we became a university. So our foundation is teaching, which is a good thing to have if you're a university. And we also have art, psychology, media and communications, and so forth. So we do have a wide range of courses. Okay, those are our schools, our different schools that we have. We have 8 schools. So the first one is engineering. Okay, so engineering, we actually rank in the top 175 in the world, according to Times Higher Education, Science and Engineering and Technology. So we rank well. We're a newer school, very modern facilities, very passionate academics, very supportive. The boss of engineering, his name is Professor Dayish Habibi. I know him well. He says, if you are an international student in my school, you are VIP, and more than that, you're part of my family. So those are the undergraduate courses. They're 4-year courses, and you can see the different streams. Honours is included. It's part of the course because it's 4 years. These courses are all recognised by Engineers Australia, which is the national recognition body, and also the Washington Accord, which is international. So they've got international recognition and domestic recognition as well. We also have Master of Engineering if you do have an engineering background. So you can do a Master of Engineering, and those are all the different specialisations that you can do. Master of Engineering can be used to advance your engineering. So say you were a chemical engineer and you wanted to continue with chemical engineering, you could do that to get advanced knowledge. Or say you're a mechanical engineer and you decide that you wanted to go into renewable energy, which is a very growing area, then you could use this to actually change your specialisation to a new area and then work into that, and with the idea that you work into employment in Australia. Both the undergraduate, the bachelor's and the master's have a compulsory block of work practice where you go and work with a company, you do a placement as well. So it's a very important part, and that's where the good students can use that placement to actually get ongoing work, all right? And the companies use it as well. It's a way for the companies to see if they can find people that are going to work with them in the longer term, all right? So a very important part of the course. Okay, so now science is, there's quite a lot of courses in science, but I just want to focus on the main one for me is cybersecurity. So ECU is very well known for cybersecurity, one of 2 universities in Australia recognised by the Australian government for excellence in cybersecurity. Okay, so we've been teaching it probably one of the longest of any university in Australia. We've got many graduates. Cybersecurity, there is a huge shortage of cybersecurity professionals in the world. Okay, we just can't produce, the world can't produce enough professionals required for jobs, for companies, and what's required at the moment. So there's huge demand. So there's a very good chance if you do one of either undergraduate or the postgraduate course, the Master of Cyber, that you can get yourself into a job at the end. And I've seen reports recently where graduates are now starting on like minimum $100,000 Australian, which is very good money as a starting salary. Probably like if not 100,000, it would be about 80,000. Yes, Gabriel?
Yes, I just want to add that all my students who went to study Master of Cybersecurity, they got a job at the end. So it's proven that there is a shortage in the industry, and you can find a job in this area.
And how many students have you placed so far, Gabriel? Would you say of those students? Just give us a number.
For cybersecurity, I think there are over 20 students.
Yeah, exactly. So Gabriel's been an agent of working with ECU for a couple of years. 20 students have come, and they've all got jobs. So there you go. That's the proof. Master of Cybersecurity, you don't need an IT background to do the Master of Cybersecurity. We've had people like psychologists, health sciences, all sorts of different areas. Teachers can do this course, okay? Because there is some technical element which we can teach, but it's also a mind element as well, understanding that these cyber criminals. So you don't need an IT background to do cybersecurity. And again, talk to Gabriel because he can give you some advice.
Yes,
you're not sure.
I can also give some examples. We have doctors, they study medicine, they went to study cybersecurity, or psychologists, same, they went to study cybersecurity, accountants. So it's really easy to change your major if you are interested in this field. And then you can also do some practical tests before to see if cybersecurity it's the course you want to do in future.
Perfect. So there you go. Speak to Gabriel. He can help you. Other courses, data science is another up-and-coming course. It's a 2-year course. You qualify for the post-study work visa. You would get 4 years at the moment, up to 4 years. So it would be 4 years because you're doing a master's in Perth. Data science is another big up-and-coming area where I believe there'll be a shortage of professionals in that area as well. Okay, so these are just some courses that we offer. There's more. I just wanted to give you some examples where there are jobs as well. So I'm going to move on to business. Bachelor of Commerce is our probably most popular course. These are 3-year courses, and you can do majors, double majors, different combinations of majors and minors according to your interest. I believe that we're now in the top 70 or 80 according to a Shanghai ranking for our hospitality and tourism course. If you're interested in that area, it's something we specialise in. And again, very good practical placements associated with this course as well. These are probably our most popular courses. These are all 2-year masters, business masters. So you can see there we have different courses that we offer. Accounting is now back an occupation in demand in Australia. It fell off. If you do some research, and again, Gabrielle can help, you'll find that there's sort of certain occupations that are in demand in Australia according to government lists, federal and state. Accounting was off and it's come back on again, and we've got this fantastic little 2-year professional accounting course to prepare you for the field. I've been doing some research with some students that did this course, and some of them are on to their 3rd job within a year after graduating because of the demand for accountants at the moment. Project management, popular. Sometimes engineers, they don't want to keep on with engineering, so they go into project management to do something a bit different. Management information systems, this is business analysts. Supply chain logistics, it's very big in Western Australia. We're very spread out. Told you about the mining industry. It's quite far away from the city of Perth. People live in all parts of the state, so it's very important. Supply chain, and especially at the moment, it's critical where there's sort of shortages going on. So very sought after field. MBA, MBAI. So the MBAI is if you don't have work experience, so your early career, you can still come and do an MBA. So we've got lots of good choices there. Again, I just wanted to give you an idea. It's always good to do your own research and chat to someone like Gabrielle. Nursing is very big in Australia, as you can imagine. There's probably all over the world. There's real demand for nurses, and we have both undergraduate and postgraduate courses in nursing. Again, the Master of Nursing graduate entry, you don't need a nursing background to do that. It's a 2-year course, and at the end of it, you can register. These courses lead to registration as a nurse. People doing these courses at the moment are just walking into jobs in Australia. Nursing is a bit tricky with a visa, but again, if you've got someone like Multipath Expert, they can give you advice just in terms of whether it's the right course in terms of getting a visa. It can be a bit tricky sometimes, but someone like Gabrielle. But I just wanted to let you know that we do have nursing. It is a popular course. Okay, so almost finished. Now, scholarships, always of great interest. So if you are Central Asian, and we cover most of the country, all the countries, so definitely Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, and also the other Central Asian countries. I'm not going to repeat them all now because I'll make a fool of myself. You will get, so you will qualify for our, so if you're coming into undergraduate study, you'll get automatically, you get 20% off the fees, all right, for the full duration of the course. If you're coming into undergraduate, unfortunately, not all the courses get this, but most do. For example, nursing, because it's very popular, doesn't. But all the other courses I showed you will get 20%. There are some exclusions, but not many. Now, if you're coming into a master's, you'll get 20% off the first year of the tuition fee. Okay, if you're Central Asian, this is basically on nationality. It'll be on the letter of offer. It's automatic. You don't need to fill in any extra forms. So for a master's, you've got 20% off the first year, and the second year you'll need to pay the full fee. But look, great way to get settled in, some discount off the first year, get established, get working and so forth, and then be more settled for the second year. The last one is what's called Executive Dean Master of Engineering Scholarship. So this is if you're an engineering student and you did well in your engineering degree, it's possible that you will get, and it says 10%, but it's actually going up to 20% for the duration of the study in 2023. So that's going up, that percentage. So that one is merit-based, and it depends. It's for engineering students and depends on your background, what score you got. So as I mentioned, not all the courses are included for scholarships. We also, if you're doing a pathway, if you need to come through a pathway because you don't qualify to first year, we have a pathway, a college called Edith Cowan College, and they also have scholarships as well. So that one, it depends. As long as you get 75% or above in your diploma, then when you come to ECU, you'll get 20% for the duration of your undergraduate course. So we do have scholarships, and definitely for the region that we're broadcasting, the scholarships are there for you, okay? They're always on the letter of offer. So if it doesn't come through on your letter of offer, then you need to check. Ideally, you've submitted it through Multipath Expert, and then Gabrielle would speak to me and we work out what's going on. Okay, so nearly finished with admissions. I found out that for Uzbek students, your U12, unfortunately, is not equivalent. It's equivalent to year 11. So you need to do some sort of foundation study, which I understand that you do, or you can come and do a pathway with us, which I mentioned, Edith Cowan College. Another way is to do some study at a recognised university in Uzbekistan, at least 1 year of study. As long as you do at least 1 year of study, generally that will be equivalent to our year 12. If you've done more than 1 year, it means you might get some credits as well. So if you've done at least 1 year of study at a university in Uzbekistan, quite likely you'll be able to apply for a undergraduate course in Australia in general. You can see for undergraduate, the IELTS is 6 with no band less than 6. All right. Apologies for the Lebanese. That's a mistake. I did this for a Lebanese recently. So, but yeah, so there is pathway as well. Just put in Uzbekistan or Central Asia there. For masters, you need to have done a degree which is equivalent to an Australian degree. So you can make an application and we do an assessment to see if your degree is the same weight as an Australian degree. If it is, then you can do a master's. If not, then there are ways that you can top up. Again, with our college, you can do a top up and then come into masters. The IELTS requirement is 6.5 with no band under 6. Gabrielle tells me Uzbek students that you generally get IELTS 6.5, which is very good if you can get that level. Now, with the scholarship, if you do get the scholarship, the fees, you're looking at around about per annum, per year, somewhere between 26 to 30,000 Australian dollars, okay? So that's the range with the scholarship, which in US dollars is about somewhere between 18,000 to 21,000 USDs per annum, okay? So that's after the scholarship. I just wanted to give you an idea. Again, if you put an application in, you get a letter of offer, you can work all this out later. We do have a site. You might want to take a quick screenshot or grab your phone out and take a quick photo of that web address. That is our international webpage on our ECU site. Lots of good information. You can actually talk to current students. We have ambassadors. So you can actually set up conversations and you can ask them yourself if you're interested, about maybe it's about the course of study or life in Perth or whatever you want to ask them. You can do that directly. On that page, you can also build a e-brochure. So you can you can actually design it the way that you want it. And then when you're ready, you click send and it comes into your email as well. So it's a very handy page. I definitely take a quick photo of that and go and check it out later because that's where there's a lot of information about ECU. Just want to talk a bit about, I mentioned before that our West Australian government is quite wealthy at the moment off the back of the mining and the oil and gas that's gone on. Again, just with that mining, so the mining and oil and gas happens in other parts of Western Australia. Perth is in the south, so it's not like you have mining next door to Perth. It's a very livable city. What people do is they actually fly in and fly out. So a lot of people, it's called FIFO. They fly in and fly out to the areas of industry. But because of the industry, the government does have money. And in semester 1, the government actually gave money to students as incentives. So they were giving subsidies for accommodation. You had to study English. They were giving money as well. Students still had to quarantine. So they were giving up to $2,000. So the reason I want to put it here is that we're just waiting to see what they might do for semester 2, whether they continue these incentives and possibly into semester 1 next year as well. So I just wanted to show you this. And again, maybe that Study Perth website is a great place, a resource to find out this information and other information as well. You might just want to do some research because it just might be if there are incentives in place and you are thinking about coming to study with us, it might encourage you a bit further. And just to let you know that the government has actually been giving money back to students as well. And we do free airport pickup as well. So if you're a new student coming in, we give you free airport pickup, and we also have our own discounts for accommodation as well. But these are many things. And again, if you get to the point of wanting to ask more questions, then a very good point is Gabrielle. And that is the end of that's the end.
Thank you, Adam, for your time and for presenting the courses. We actually have inquiries and students from Central Asia that they will come to Edith Cowan University. I think last week, Sanjar, we had a family from Uzbekistan. They went to study Master of Data Science, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So more students from Central Asia will come to Edith Cowan University, which is really good because Western Australia provides great opportunities for the families. As I mentioned before, free education for the children of international students, which is a big advantage comparing with other territories from Australia. Yeah.
And an easy process that you can do, Gabriel, and you've done a couple of times already, correct?
Exactly. Before we end up, we're gonna play a video recording of Christina. She's from Uzbekistan and she studied hospitality in Melbourne. But before that, I just want to thank again to Adam and Sanjar for your time, and it was great to see you guys here. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Christina. I'm 24 years old and I'm from sunny Uzbekistan, Tashkent. However, right now I'm in Melbourne, Australia. I'm doing my master's degree here. My major is hotel management. And I'm really happy to study at Torrens Blue Mountain School because it really offers lots of different opportunities for youngsters. We even have the success coach who can easily help you to find the job in your sphere. And I can say without any hesitations that this school makes you really happy to study every single subject, because all the professors are really great experts in a particular sphere. We do have lots of practical classes, not only the academic, boring and theoretical part of it, but also so much fun. For example, last trimester, I selected to study food and beverage. And the whole trimester we did so many interesting things, like we learned how to make mocktails, cocktails. At the end of the trimester we decided to go to different wineries in Australia. It is really famous places where you can visit and really found out more about how different types of wines or champagnes are made. So I'm really enjoying whatever I'm doing right now. So regarding why did I choose to study in Australia, I can say that I have been already to so many different places in the world. Of course, I still have so many countries and destinations where I want to go further and visit them, but Australia was actually in the list of that destinations. So it was actually one of my dreams to be here, and I'm here. So I can say that it was really tough process. I wanted to be honest with you because it really takes lots of efforts, many attempts, as well as quite a bit of time. But you have to be patient if you want your dreams to come true one day. So be ready, be prepared for these challenges, but that it's really worth it. So for example, before I have already been working in the US for about maybe 6-7 months. For those of you who knows the program of cultural exchange, so that time I was working in New Hampshire, and I actually want to emphasize that the culture in the US and culture in the Australia is completely different. For me, I found Australia more friendly. People always smile to you. I think that it is just because we do have sun all the time, and it really matters. But actually, what's the difference in terms of the culture? Australia is a mixture of everyone, and you can be the next one who will be arriving soon and joining Australia. It's not only a particular nationality who lives here, for example, like Australian. No, it can be Indians, it can be Italians. I have already so many different friends who actually came from Singapore, China, Taiwan, not a lot actually from Uzbekistan, but it is still fine. From Russia, from Kazakhstan, so many different parts of Europe. So it's really a mixture of something, and I'm really pleased to be here, and I never felt like I'm out of this place. I also want to mention that I'm already working here for about 7 months. I'm working at Park Hive, Melbourne. So it's located in eastern part of the Melbourne. So this place really offers lots of opportunities for those who would like to build a career in hospitality sphere. So for me, it was a bit challenging because it is actually my first experience to work in hotel. It was a bit tough at the beginning, but people over there are really friendly, very much supportive, and they're ready to teach you every single detail which is like related to the work. So hopefully I will progress in this career in my future as well, of course. Actually, that's all that I would like to share with you. Unfortunately, right now I'm a little bit busy with my exam at the university as well as the work at the same time, and I can't really join the webinar, but I believe that my friends and colleagues at the same time will assist you in every single question. For those of you who still didn't subscribe to our Instagram page, please do that, because we are trying to share as many different posts as possible, as well as me personally. I'm trying to share different stories every single day. So I would highly appreciate it. And thank you so much for your time and your attention. If you do have some other questions or inquiries that I can assist you with, please do not hesitate to email me or just talk to Gabriel so he can share my contacts with you guys. So it was really nice to see all of you. Good luck with your visa applications, and hopefully you will be in Australia soon. So thank you so much.